This week's mission will focus on removing a sounder from a subdivision within Columbus, Georgia. This scenario happens annually with Urban Hog Control as homeowners begin seeing rooting damage in their yard during October, when acorns begin falling. The only surrounding habitat which could support a sounder's bedding area is the 80 acres south of the subdivision, which is owned by a single family. Let's zoom in tighter on this area to show the 80-acre family built an 8-foot-tall woven wire fence against the subdivision, but stopped their final wooden brace post at the creek. This makes a perfect pinch point to install a spin cast feeder for our bait site. Notice our ice camera is mounted on the T-post near the woven wire fence. Deer find our feeder the next morning, which is October 2nd. It took 3 more days to receive our first intel on pigs during a thunderstorm. This sounder of 7 has a pregnant sow standing under the feeder, an adult boar, and 5 young adults. 4 of the 5 subadults are boars with only 1 gilt. We bait during late afternoon with a half bucket of corn to supplement the feeder spin cast, since we have 7 adults on camera. First action of the night is an adult black boar, which is not one of the original 7 from this morning. I recognized the boar on the right from this morning because he has a black patch on his front left leg. His nickname is now Patches. Here is the pregnant sow with the new black boar on her tail. The feeder spins at dusk, which is 1930, and temporarily spooks the sounder. Within 30 minutes, Patches comes back to feed again, with all 5 young adults with him. The pregnant sow now joins them 10 minutes later to create the same 7-pig sounder from this morning. We can easily view the neighbor's porch light in the background. Now is a good time to verify sexes of all 5 young adults from this morning. From left to right is a black boar, 2 red-spotted boars, a black gilt, Patches, another red-spotted boar, and the pregnant sow. It is now 2100. So they have fed comfortably for an hour before leaving. Another new arrival, a Poland China boar, shows up after midnight to check out the feeder. His nickname is PC for Poland China. This raises our target count to 9. Sounder Intel verifies our target package consists of 6 adults with 3 adult boars as bonus targets. We never count adult boars as part of our trapping target package, as they are likely to be in the next county tomorrow if they come across the scent of a sow in heat. Our performance standard is whole sounder removal, which means we must remove all 6 pigs, expending the least amount of fuel, time, labor, and money. PC is still at the feeder when our pregnant sow returns. I would say the 5 young adults are her offspring from the previous litter. All 7 return to the feeder together at 2:41. PC also comes back for another round a few minutes later. Last intel of the night shows our pregnant sow and her 5 offspring return one more time at 4:18. This is a good sign they are comfortable with the feeder and are starting to trust it as a food source. Step 2 of our Capture Success Matrix is proprietary and not shown on our YouTube channel. This is enough intel to verify Step 2 of our Capture Success Matrix is complete. We quickly install all 12 trap panels during midday to build a single gate mine trapping system. I start 3 feet inside the gate threshold and hand bait a half bucket of corn inside the trap enclosure. The only pig I'm concerned about is the pregnant sow. I predict her offspring will arrive first, just like last night, and she will observe them feeding before she commits. Baiting in this manner will force her to enter the trap before she is rewarded with a meal. Always test drop gates using the Jager Pro app to ensure the M.I.N.E live video camera is wirelessly paired to the control box receiver. A final scan of the trap site gives viewers a better perspective of the 35-foot diameter trap's position in relation to the 8-foot-tall woven wire fence, which separates the 80-acre wooded property from the subdivision. This strategic location allows pigs to walk around the woven wire fence from their bedding area directly into the trap. The best laid plans are often ruined by an adult boar. The black boar, who was not seen on camera last night, is first to arrive tonight and displays an attitude when the sounder arrives in the background. He shows his dominance by chasing the sounder from our gate threshold. This little stunt earns him the nickname Dom for being the dominant boar. Dom feeds alone for the next hour as the sounder circles the trap and watches him feed. He finally departs the trap site all fat and happy 5.5 hours later at 3:12. The sounder arrives 30 minutes later, and the pregnant sow takes a bite out of Patches. She is probably frustrated that Dom controlled the food source all night and took it out on poor old Patches. The pregnant sow roots around the gate threshold another 15 minutes, while Patches bites at the trap panel. This demonstrates a perfect example of why I prefer using a double gate trap enclosure to allow 2 separate entrances, which speeds up whole sounder conditioning. My target package of 6 is standing inside the trap at 4:03. I could easily trigger the capture, but make a command decision to wait on Patches to enter, since this is an urban subdivision. Safety prevents thermal shooting operations from being an effective method in a densely populated urban environment. I do not want to educate Patches to the trapping process. Something spooks the sounder 3 minutes later, and I quickly regret my earlier decision to wait on Patches. A crash and burn into panels is usually more of an issue with rural pigs than urban pigs, but I'll know for sure in about 16 hours. We bait with a bucket before lunch in the same manner as yesterday. Only raccoons feed on the night of October 8th. I'm downwind with a thermal monocular and observe our sounder avoid the trap at 2046 on the 9th. After pigs travel back to the 80-acre property, I bait outside the gate and replenish what raccoons have eaten inside the trap. 2 deer feed during midday on the 10th, since our pigs have not fed inside the trap for 2 nights in a row. Now, the neighbor's dog enters our trap at lunchtime on the 11th. It's easy to get frustrated as a hog control operator when it seems like everything is going against you. You must trust the process and stay focused on your mission. Finally, 3 young adults arrive at 21:35 on the 11th and enter the trap to feed. Dom is minutes behind and wastes no time evicting them from the enclosure. He chases everyone out again 15 minutes later, including a challenge to the pregnant sow. Now I fully understand the problem. Dom is in hot pursuit of the young gilt. This dominant behavior is a reason I have not seen Patches or PC lately. He just signed his own death warrant, as I will not be able to make a whole sounder capture with him creating chaos. A few minutes later, he clears the trap for a 3rd time. The sounder has had enough and retreats back to the 80-acre property. For some reason, Dom pursues after them. Possibly the young female is still on his brain. He quickly returns to the subdivision property a minute later to re-enter the trap and resume feeding. I waited more than an hour to ensure the sounder was out of the immediate area. Then I accessed the live video camera through the Jager Pro app and pressed the Close Gate button. The sounder returns to the subdivision 30 minutes later to investigate the commotion, and I noticed something odd. I've not seen all three of the red-spotted brothers together since the sounder crashed and burned into the trap panels 3 nights ago. This is an important observation. I purposely drive my E-Z-GO workhorse to the trap with the headlights on. Pigs are already used to vehicles and headlights within the subdivision. I want them to temporarily leave the trap site without associating this event with humans or danger. I quickly euthanize a boar using a suppressed .22 caliber rifle with a 45 grain subsonic bullet. Photographs are important to properly document data for the harvest efficiency report and future best management practices. Always wear rubber or latex gloves when handling feral pigs. Dragging this big boy to the tilt bed trailer by myself is a chore in the dark. The trap is quickly baited with a half bucket of corn and gate trigger is set. I'm preparing for a whole sounder capture later this morning or tonight now that Dom is no longer a problem. 5 pigs arrive at 1948. It looks like 2 red-spotted boars, the black boar, Patches walking along the panels, and the black gilt bringing up the rear. They enter without hesitation. A few minutes later, the pregnant sow approaches the trap as the other 5 adults continue feeding. Still no sign of the 3rd red-spotted boar. The pregnant sow finally reaches the gate threshold. Slowly and cautiously, she finally enters the trap enclosure. I give her a minute to calm down and create some distance from the gate. Then press the Close Gate button on our Jager Pro app. Initially, the sounder reacts relatively calm without crashing the gate or panels. Now, they finally realize they're caught. I immediately leave my house to make the 20-minute trip to the subdivision, and am surprised to see photo intel of PC standing at the gate. He doesn't seem to be bothered by the metal contraption confining 6 other pigs, so I load my Daniel Defense .308 caliber rifle with Hornady 178 grain ELDX bullets, topped with a pulsar trail thermal scope. I slip behind the homeowner's workshop with the wind in my face and plan for the safest shooting scenario possible while firing a center-fire rifle in a subdivision. There are 3 important conditions in my favor. First, it is highly unlikely the ELDX bullet will pass through both shoulders of a 175-pound boar. Second, I'll take the shot with the trap sounder standing behind PC to catch any pass-through bullet fragments. And third, there's a half mile of woods on the 80-acre property directly downrange of the trap. The curious homeowner joins me as I park my E-Z-GO in the same spot as last night and quickly euthanize the sounder using a suppressed .22 caliber rifle. I recover PC and drag him back to the trap, then display the sounder largest to smallest dress-right dress for photographs prior to collecting data for the harvest efficiency report. The homeowner observes me perform a necropsy on the pregnant sow and is astonished to see 10 fully grown fetuses which would have been born within 2 weeks. We load the sounder into my tilt bed trailer, then rebait our trap with a half bucket of corn. The gate trigger is set just in case the final red-spotted boar brother is still alive and arrives to feed. It is a good possibility this pig has already been killed by hunters on the 80-acre property. It does not take long for word to spread throughout the subdivision that Jager Pro has removed 8 adults and 10 fetuses. The reason I like homeowners to join me during the euthanization and necropsy is so they may observe our professionalism and ask questions. This education spread among homeowners themselves is important to encourage future communication and long-term population control. We left the trap in place for another 10 days and only observed deer, raccoons, and squirrels on camera. We did not encounter any mature bucks at this location until the sounder was removed. Feral pigs harmfully impact agriculture, native vegetation, native wildlife, soil properties, and water quality. Both humans and wildlife are happy when pigs are eliminated from a property. We removed 8 of 9 targeted pigs for 89% removal success. Even though our performance cannot take credit for the last pig being removed, none of the homeowners reported a pig sighting or damage throughout the entire subdivision all winter. This was a unique urban situation where a nearby hunter was probably responsible for removing the boar during our operation. No failure is given to our people, process, or product.
For the past 17 years, you've stuck with us as we've educated the public about the best management practices of integrated wild pig control. We've shared hundreds of videos and exceeded 58 million views, which is more than all of government and academia on the topic of feral pig control. I have a personal goal of exceeding 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you've been educated by our videos, maybe entertained by our comments or replies, or simply enjoy our content, please hit the subscribe button and help us reach this amazing milestone together.